Hello. Hello. Not long ago, a well-known and respected director, Martin Scorsese, director of Taxi Driver and the new movie on Netflix, The Irishman, create controversy by claiming that Marvel's movie were not real movie. That statement opened many discussions about the definition of the seventh art and start many disputes about it. I personally strongly disagree about Scorsese's opinion about Marvel movie for many reasons. First of all, to provide context, Scorsese explained his point by saying that those movies are all the same and they just repeat the same formula of superheroes story just for money. I agree that those movies are making an incredible amount of money, but I say, studios are businesses. Studio like Disney, Pixar, Universal, and Marvel are all businesses, so it seems illogical to blame them for gaining currency. He classified this film as a simple tool to grow the studio, and he accused them of missing the creative touch that makes cinema unique and qualify it as an art. James Gunn, the writer and director of The Guardian of the Galaxy, said, quote, "Many of our grandfathers thought all gangsters movies were all the same. Superheroes are simply today's gangster, cowboys, outer space, and adventurer. Some superhero films are awful. Some are beautiful, like Western and gangsters movie. Not everyone will be able to appreciate them, and that's okay." End quote. Gangster movies are particularly mentioned by James Gunn because it's the principal genre Martin Scorsese is known making. Superhero movies as a formula, but what makes some more great than others is how they make their own voice with it and go creative. And yet some are really not great, like Thor: The Dark World. But there are others that are just unbelievably unique. Thor, Ragnarok, and Logan are great examples. I can understand how the next Marvel movies can seem just for the profit because we cannot see where they want to take the new character. But the trilogy of Iron Man movies and with the last two Avengers really showed that they knew what they wanted to do with the character and had a clear idea of that character arc. And same for all the others except maybe Hulk. Another point that Scarlett Johansson, the actress of Black Widow, brought up is the probable fear that because the blockbusters take all the room in the theater, there is less space for independent creators or less non-studio to expand their names. I agree with Scorsese about the fact that listening to a movie in theater and listening to it alone in front of your screen is far from being the same. The fun of going to theater is to experience story with other people, but that's a joy that's beginning to be lost because of all the media like Netflix in which you can watch those movies. Quote, "The mystery that Scorsese is talking about is in Black Panther. If he saw it, he didn't get that there was this feeling of not knowing what was going to happen, that black people failed. We thought, white people will kill us off, so it's a possibility that we could be gone." End quote. Shared Chadwick Boseman, actor of Black Panther, about this fear of the future of theater and way to distribute movies. In his biography, Charlie Chaplin did share some similar worry. The difference was that he was worrying about the arrival of sound in movie. and Scorsese as concern about the arrival of other media. Cinema is an art that is closely related to the society and its context. Movies are a sort of reflection of its society. It just means that it's an art in constant change, in evolution, like we are as human beings in groups. Just go watch an Asian movie and it'll become apparent that the idea and way of exploring theme are very different. Same thing if you listen to a movie made during or after World War II. Also, that those superhero films has no depth is a common argument that often comes back. Cyrus Tosco explained this point in his article in The Islanders. Quote, for instance, the end battle between Captain America and Iron Man. Those who enjoyed the movie might point to the scene in which Iron Man shoots his blaster at Captain America's shield when discussing the most iconic shot. But this fight can really be distilled as a misunderstood between the two. It contains no depth and say nothing essential about either character. Compare that image to the iconic opening image of one of Scorsese's favorite films, Space Odyssey. The shot of the moon, Earth and the sun align, provoke reflection on how small humanity is compared to the rest of the solar system. End quote. In Captain America Civil War, the moment where Iron Man blaster and Captain America's shield meet, it brings us back to their first movie together, The Avengers, when Thor was fighting against Cap and Iron Man. It's a way to signify a return to phase one of the friendship and trust that they built for at least 2 other movies. Not only that, but even character and their relation means something, but I won't go into it because time. The premise of the movie raises also a great question. I'm cheating a bit because the movie didn't end well this part of the conflict, but it's still interesting. They introduced the Superhuman Registration Act, which obligate every person with a superhuman ability to register their name and true identity to the government and restrict them to work for an organization for the safety of the others and to be able to identify who must pay for the destruction of a part of the city when there's a fight. The problem is that their identity is going to be really easy to access for people who want to harm them. Also, the reason that superheroes exist is to protect and save people that policemen or the law cannot save. It's a fight of liberty against safety. Anyway, the first scene of A Space Odyssey represents the minusculity of man next to the universe, and the last of Captain America is the end of a friendship caused by different opinion and way of thinking. Yeah, it does not have the same epic theme, but the theme still works. My favorite definition of what movie was said by Joe Russo, one of the directors of Endgames. Quote, ultimately, we define cinema as a film that can bring people together to have a shared emotional experience. End quote. To conclude, I understand but disagree with Scorsese's statement. A movie that makes a lot of money isn't necessarily a bad movie, just a successful one for the studio. Being worried about the future of cinema is useless because it's evolving with the society it's within. A movie that lacks depth and bring you no emotion, it doesn't affect you in some way anyway, is not because of the genre. It just means that it's a bad movie. And even after all of this speech, I'm gonna end with this simple but true citation of Kevin Feige, the president and creator of the Marvel Studio. Quote, everybody has a different definition of cinema. Everybody has a different definition of art. End quote. That's it.
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life. If life seems jolly rotten,